The budget pocket knife arena is exploding lately. Guys, I paid $15.18 for a D2 steel crossbar lock MOSSY oak pocket knife that's rocking a 3.5-inch blade, G10 handle scales, and a loop over pocket clip. How is this even possible? I thought MOSSY oak was only a Walmart brand anyway, but apparently not, or Walmart is just selling on Amazon, because that's where I picked this up. You can get this in black G10 as well for like $16 when I'm making the video. May fluctuate a little bit, but that is bananas. And we're gonna unpack what the capabilities are, what limitations exist, because there are a few at $15. There's gotta be some corners cut. So I'm gonna unpack all that with you guys and run in some competitive options. If you're new to the channel, thanks for hanging with me today. I'm Aaron. This is Gideonstactical. Let's dive in first with the blade itself. At 3.5 inches, you're getting a lot of real estate with a very high, you could argue almost a full flat grind. It is a saber, but it's so high, it basically operates and cuts like a full flat grind. It's gonna have about 1/8 of an inch back there by the jimping and then tapers, and it has really nice swedging and aesthetics. You know, back in the day, when I first got into knives, when I first started the channel over a decade ago, $15 was gonna get you nothing. That was a gas station leveled knife that like you could look at and be like, oh my gosh, it's just ugly and cheap. It is hard to find issues, but knives are just getting better and better overall. And this is an example of that. So great cutting, great slicing. The blade shape and geometry just works so well. It's a great EDC knife, great for like food prep as well. Just going through general stuff, going to totally kick butt on that level. Sorry kids if you're watching, because no families watch, butt's a bad word, but I'm gonna keep talking about it. So D2 steel, this is the first one. Now the edge retention seems to be holding up well. I would say it seems to be doing better, definitely than like not AUS 8. I'm seeing a little bit better, but definitely better than like 440A or 7CR that a lot of like Gerber, Buck lately are been doing with these like their cheap knives. This is better, but when we're looking at this is what the Rockwell is, 57 to 62. That is a massive Rockwell difference right there. So I don't know. You know, it says D2 is probably D2. That's a big margin right there, man. So I don't know about that per se, but it is performing better than 7CR that I have on like a lot of other really inexpensive blades or like 440A that we see from some of these American-based companies that make their knives over in China. Obviously, this is made in China. Now, the weight on top of that, you may be like, okay, well, is it like a brick? 3.1 ounces, you tell me. 3.1 ounces, excellent. Let's look at the handle length here. Yeah, 4.5. 4.5 on the handle. Very, kind of, I wouldn't say generic, but just like very straight. It's a very straight feeling, but you can see there with my large size hands, got full grip, feels really good in the hand in the sense of its dimensions, thickness, girth. Now it's gonna have steel liners that are not milled, of course, for 15, 16 bucks. What do you expect? But you got flow through construction, a little polymer backer right there with the lanyard hole. Now this is like a very light tan. They do have just black G10 if you prefer that as well. Now this is where the next aspect that I noticed where you would see there are some like, not corners cut, but it is like as flat as a brick right there. There's no contouring and it is a little sharp. Now you could, if it bothered you, you could just take a piece of light sandpaper, rub that down to get the transition. So there's like a scalloping here, but they didn't scallop it again. And you can definitely like kind of feel it. Now there's no lips. The metal is great. It's not like, you know, exposed or anything like that, but it's just like black or flat, totally square transition on the bottom, and they do the same thing on the top. Would have liked to see that scalping transition one more time. It would have just been a little bit more ergonomic, but for under $20, definitely bearable, I would say. So that's the handle. Now, before we get to action, because there's some things that I didn't even know about the action, and we'll get to that in just a second, but you got one, this is where ambi would have been better, obviously. Loop over deep ride, very large. They didn't recess the screws, but you can still get in over most pants. And then you have a very protruding pocket clip. That's a little insane. I would definitely bend that down. I don't like that. That flare is big, does create a little bit of a hot spot when I'm gripping really hard. And then you do have some medium jimping. It is aggressive if you push down and really bear down right there, but if you're just cutting, and what I tend to do is almost kind of like bypass that. So it's not the most ergonomic knife. It's not bad, and particularly for the money, but there's definitely better. When I run in some competitive options, you'll notice for like $15 more, 30 bucks, you can get a little bit more ergonomic design, but definitely gets the job done, and with a little elbow grease, you could definitely remove some of those hot spots. Now, what about this weird hidden feature I didn't even know on this design? It'll either make or break the design, I think, for you. But before we do that, I do invite you to hit that like button. That does really help us go up in the rankings and get recommended to fellow knife lovers like yourself. And if you're not yet a subscriber, I do invite you to hit the subscription button. Make sure to hit the bell icon so you can be notified every week when I break down gear and equipment just like this. We have a nice protruding flipper. The jimping is not overly aggressive right there, so it's not going to be sharp to deploy. But watch this. Get ready. Did you hear it? I cannot close it. This is assisted. This is an assisted opening crossbar lock. I did not know that. I don't see it anywhere. Maybe it's deep down buried in the description of this the knife, but I didn't know that. So at first I was like, oh man, and it's got like it's got the perfect amount. It's got the perfect amount. It slides. It's got an integrated stop bar on a track in there. I mean, there's a level of detail with this knife that you're just like, what in the world? So it flies open, not super fast, but not slow. One of the better, to be honest with you, ones. And this is what's crazy, is that most crossbar locks that I've seen that are assisted is that like the tension starts right away and you can't even like get it moving. This one, the tension does not engage, let's see here, until there. So then I can easily one-handed still close this. So I can deploy, pull the crossbar back. Let's see if I can do it here on frame for you guys. It'll go to right there. Then I can just use my finger and then it drops into place. And the tip is really nice and buried. Some companies need to take note. I cannot get that tip. The centering is delicious and nutritious. Fills in there perfectly. And it's running on Teflon washers. So we have a little bit of play side to side, but the lockup is great up and down. The little honeycomb design right there on the crossbar. Really good. Pull back, drops the blade, boom, closes it up. I want to know from you guys, is that assisted like a deal breaker for you? Or you're like, oh, it's kind of interesting. I want to kind of have some fun with it and give it a shot, you know? So for like a stalking knife, a gift knife, or you're just starting out, you're like, I don't even know what type of locking mechanisms I like yet. I don't even know what type of steels or blade shapes. This is not a bad option for $15, $16, what it is currently going for when I bought the blade. Now, what about for just a little bit more? You know, for just a little bit more money, what can you get? Well, the one that we just recently did, I paid 30 bucks for this. Sometimes you can find them even cheaper, is the SCHRADE Divergent AUS 8 steel, made in China. But this one is going to be ambidextrous. It will have kind of an old style, like a wrap model. A flow-through construction. It's going to be 3 inches. I'd love to see a 3.5-inch version. This is not assisted. Runs on ball bearings. Nice and smooth. Great crossbar lock. G10 handle. Feels great. The blade shape is really cool. I really like that blade shape. Really dig that a lot. And that is going to have a hollow grind. So kind of unique. We don't see that too often anymore. Great centering. And about double the price. So I'll probably take the AUS 8 over the D2 on this one, even though I feel like they're performing very similarly because of the weird, like the amount of Rockwell difference that like they're claiming, and again the ambidextrous lock. Another option would be I don't even remember the model number. This is an SRM. Does it say it over there? Yeah. 9211 GW. So this is rocking, I believe it's HCR 14. No, 13. HCR 13 MOV, nothing wrong with that steel. Crazy blade shape. Crazy, like modified Tanto design. G10 handles. I did have a little bit of shifting, but I had to just tighten that down. Teflon washers, I believe. Yeah, Teflon washers, but they have like milled out handle, as you can see in there. Let's see if we can get in there. There you go, milled out. Recessed screws, pocket clips a little bit better, but it's not ambidextrous. You have like a thumb plate. And I think I paid 20 bucks for this guy, and it's a manual, so it'll flip into place, and I think that one's like 3.5 inches as well. So just kind of a different variant if you don't like the assisted, but you want kind of the same size range. There's that model as well. All the links will be included below over to the affiliate networks I partner with if you're interested in any of these models. So leave comments below. Let me know what you guys think about these super budget-friendly options. If there are other ones that you want to see me test out and review here at the channel. And if you already own one of these MOSSY Oaks, how has it been performing for you? Always appreciate your guys' feedback. Thanks for hanging with me today. Check out the other video popping up and subscribe if you haven't yet. Until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. I'll see you out there.